doing it. You supposed to be happy you sitting there with Kid L. Why you mad?
The Kid L podcast.
You know?
Yeah.
It's always there.
Rockin' and
Yeah.
rolling. Ciera, Angelia is in the building. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good. We just talked about it's Memorial Day and we're podcasting, which is pretty cool.
You know, that means that we're workaholics because
Yes.
we're here.
And you got plans after this. You going to a barbecue or something?
I have to get some food. That's a must. But yeah, I'm here still.
Memorial Day is a day you can go to like 8 different places and just buffet line basically.
That's what I plan on doing. Like I have my friend's house I'm going to right after this. And then I'm going to go to my aunt's house, get a little food, just takes a little bit,
Yeah. Don't get too full, right? Just like sample everything out throughout the night.
What you trying to say? You start saying fat?
Bro, women? Nah, I don't know. But I'm saying, like, you know what's crazy about women? You guys get invited to everything for absolutely free, number one. And you
Facts.
get invited to the craziest places. Like, oh, come to my yacht real quick is a normal thing for you guys. Like, just pull up on me.
Yes.
Pull up at the mansion party. Like,
Yes.
that's crazy. It's all free. Life is just free.
Life is good. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to complain.
Tell everybody where you're from real quick.
So I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Cool. Talk about growing up in Detroit a little bit.
Okay, so I was born in Detroit. So I'm kind of a hybrid. I should say I'm a hybrid. So let me represent for both Detroit and West Bloomfield.
Cool.
In high school, I moved to West Bloomfield, and it was great. I mean, we didn't have street lights, so you had to be very careful walking at night. But it was pretty simple.
Pretty standard for you. Just
Pretty
like
standard.
chilling. When did you realize you wanted to enter the entertainment field?
Okay, so I'm an only child. So my mom and my dad kept me super in activities like cheerleading. I also was a figure skater, and I was competitive. So it was like a lot on me. I was training like 5 times a week, and it was just a lot for me. And I just kind of didn't want to do it when I got about 15 and started looking at boys like, you know what, I want a boyfriend. So I remember I was sitting on my mom's bed and I was watching iCarly because I love that show. And I was like, Ma, I want to act. And she was like, oh, okay. And she took her laptop and she came back maybe 2 minutes later, and she had a flyer for Mosaic. And I'm like, what's that? She's like, this is a youth theater I found. It's in Detroit. And I'm like, I thought you didn't want me to go to Detroit. She was like, no, I want you to go. And you can audition. They only have 1 audition a year. I'm like, okay, cool. When's the audition? She's like, today. I'm like, oh, okay. So she drove me down there. I ended up auditioning, and I got in, and I was very surprised. And that, honestly, Mosaic kind of catapulted my love for acting because they took us to audition in Chicago, where you audition for all these different theater schools, and it helped me get my scholarship for University of Illinois, which I went there for theater, and then I also went for nursing, but went there for theater. And then in Chicago, I got my first co-star on Empire, which was great. Yeah. And then I got the New Era commercial, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to buy a mansion. I am out of here. But after that, then it kind of slowed down really bad. I was just auditioning a lot in Chicago and auditioning and not landing anything. And then I moved to LA thinking things would be different, but I still wasn't landing anything. But
so BET was the big break for you when you feel like when you got on BET with Sisters?
Yeah.
That was the moment where it's like, okay, now we're talking.
Now I'm feeling like, okay, finally. And it's like you put all this work in and you keep auditioning and you keep hearing no, and it's just you just want to give up. But my family around me, they really were so supportive, and they would send me messages, encouraging messages when I didn't get stuff. Sometimes my dad would send me things, or I like to eat, so I get some food, Yeah. So that kept me strong. But yeah, Sisters, it was great. And I wasn't even supposed to be in that movie at first. I literally got called to help with the table read. And from there, I ended up landing a role in the movie as a truck driver. And then from there, they were like, literally the night before we filmed, they were like, can you come play the lead, actually?
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God, trying to memorize everything was hard.
That's insane. So you went from being a table reader to a truck driver scene, and now at the end of the day, you literally were the main lead of it all. What do you think made? Well, I don't want to jump over everything. I want to talk about the experience of the BET, like how you guys got the connection in the first place. Like, so let's start from ground zero with that part. Like, how'd you get in contact with BET?
Okay, so Jamar Hill, he contacted me to come and table read for him. Yeah. And he was like, I have Lil Mama in this movie. I have Columbus Short in this movie, and I loved Columbus Short. I'm like, oh, what? Oh, my gosh. Yeah. He's like, some of the actors can't make it. Can you come and just do a Zoom with us and read some of one of the lead characters? I'm like, yeah, I'll come. So I'm on the Zoom, and I'm seeing everybody. I'm taking pictures behind the screen like, oh, my God, this is so cool. And as I'm, reading one of the lead characters, the Columbus Short was like, oh my gosh, she's really good. I was like, oh, thank you. So he ended up calling the director like, hey, she's actually pretty good. You should put her in the movie somewhere. So he called me and he was like, hey, he wants you in the movie. You can play a truck driver role. It only has like a monologue, but that's at least something for you. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Okay, cool. And we got this, when we got to set, I guess some things happened and some changes were made, and that's how I got the lead there. With his connection with BT, I wasn't a producer on that project, but it ended up being featured on BT. It was their #1 film featured on their channel for a very long time. So that, made me feel really good.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the lesson in that is to just put yourself in a position, right? Like to put yourself places and seeing what happens. Because you went in there just as a table read, and then look at the opportunities that arose from just putting yourself working, just putting in the work.
Facts.
It's insane.
Facts. I always say, if you want to get into acting, go be an extra, go, network, because that's how I got a lot of my my films, really through people referring me like, yo, Ciera's super cool, or I work with her, and they vouch for you, and that helps more than any audition has ever helped to date for me.
And for people, or wind it a little bit more so we can see how it led up to that point too, and talking about now in the future. But I want to kind of rewind for people. There's so many actresses and actors and people in production and entertainment that love to hear these stories because they want to know what the process is to finding some type of success in the industry. So with you, you're going around, your mom's helping you out kind of in your early career to facilitate, and you're getting grants to, how does it work as far as you getting funded to go to these colleges? What, like, your acting is just so good that you're like, basically, like, how does that work?
I mean, I wish. No. So there is something called Unifieds, and that is in Chicago. It was in Illinois when I auditioned. I believe it's still there, but you'd have to double check. But it's called Unifieds, and a lot of the theater schools from all around, even the UK, they come to this one hotel, and you go from room to room with your monologue, with your song, so that you can audition for both their theater department, their musical theater department, and so after you audition, then they'll contact you if you get a scholarship.
Oh, scholarship.
And that will help you, to obviously go to school. But it's an amazing experience. If you are in high school, then I would recommend that you do that, because that will really help to, land you a spot in some theater school, and that will help to, shape you as an actor.
What are you learning as far as when you're going to these theater schools? And talk about just living your life as an entertainer at that time, living as an starving actor at that time, trying to figure it out.
Well, it was very difficult. Basically, the life of an actor is enjoying the auditioning process. You will hear a lot of no's. Maybe some people just are blessed in the way that they just automatically go right to the front. But a lot of times it is just staying persistent, learning your craft, honestly taking a look at why you might be saying no. It might not even just be your talent. It might be your appearance. It might be the roles that you're auditioning for don't suit the way you look. We all, people say they don't want to be typecast, but you have a look. You look like something. And a lot of times, if you hone in on what you actually look like and try and audition for the roles that fit your build and your look and the way that you sound and the way that you move, your mannerisms, it'll be a lot easier to at least get one yes there. And then you can kind of branch off and do some different things. But I always recommend just staying focused on how you look and how people perceive you, not how you perceive, how you feel about yourself, but how others perceive you. That way you have a better chance at landing something.
And it's a very valuable point. Like, not every role is for you, right? At the end of the day, you might not be able to express the emotions that character is needed or required to do. So the producer or director might see that and be like, look, I can just look at you and tell you're not going to be able to convey these emotions. Yeah. Sometimes they might be wrong, but a lot of times after doing a reading, they'll be like, it's not going to work no matter what you do. So talk about that process then. You're doing a lot of readings, you're getting a lot of auditions. What's your first moments of finding some type of success and getting paid or even being a part of something that's well credited?
The first one was Empire, and that was a co-star role. I played Marty Monroe on there, and that was a fantastic experience. I was just honestly blown away that I even landed that role, because I was just graduating from college and I just landed my agency, and I'm thinking that, I'm hearing all the time that you audition for a while and you don't land anything. For me, I had just landed my agency, and then one of the first auditions I go on, which was Empire, I book it. So I'm like, oh my God, that's why I thought things were going to be easy for me. But that first role was amazing. It was a huge set. It's Fox. So, it's amazing.
Empire's huge. Empire's humongous.
You get to work with Terrance Howard.
Right.
Amazing.
Did you get to have conversations behind the scenes with him and everything like that? I
did. He was super kind to me. Told me pretty much what I'm saying right now, which was that I'm going to hear a lot of no's and that you got to stay consistent. And also that you have to go for the things that you look like. So, if you want to go for a cop role, then you might have to tone myself down, or, it just depends on what you look like and stuff.
Cool. Who else did you get to conversate with and just talk about some of the experiences of working on Empire?
He was really the only person that I got to speak to. I was hoping I got to speak to Taraji, because I love her. Like, she's amazing. I think she's a phenomenal actress. But, she was busy, and I get it, because when you're working, and you don't want to be bombarded by a lot of questions by people that are up and coming. So I get that part.
When you're on set with, such a high level, Hollywood level set, is the production like catering towards you, or do they kind of treat you like you're work related?
They cater to you a lot.
Really?
You have a trailer, even if you have like a co-star role. So for example, for me, I wasn't one of the leads on the show. Right. So, but I still had a trailer, and I still had someone designated to me, like a PA designated to me, to get the things that I want. They still ask you what you want in your trailer. So it was my first experience getting that treatment.
What's the type of motions you're going through as you're preparing for your role, and even talking about you rehearsing your own lines and doing table readings and everything to the point of actually executing it when the cameras are rolling?
So I use the Ivana Chubbuck method. It's a 12-step method. As soon as someone sends me the script that I agree to be a part of, I break my character down. I'm finding clues about my character and the script, which is honestly the most fun. And I'm figuring out how my character walks, talks, their background, the way that they move, things that they like. So if my character likes flowers, when she's around flowers, she might be more happy, or perk up more, and just the little nuances that can make my character into an actual human. Wow. And I also try and be as fluid as I possibly can, because sometimes when you get to set, the director has a totally different vision. You make this whole backstory, you come in with your own choices, and you've been rehearsing. And you have to be careful of not getting into this rhythm that is difficult to break, because when you get to set, the director might say, hey, that's not how I saw the character. I want her to be, actually, you're playing her a little bit too soft. I want her to be hard. She actually grew up with a parent that was on drugs, and you're playing her like a two-parent household person. So it's also about being able to be flexible and knowing that you are not the violin player, you are the violin. So you have to just kind of go with the flow.
And are you learning this on set as they're recording, as they're calling action, and then the director stops and makes these adjustments, or are you learning this at like the table readings?
It depends, because every process is different. Sometimes you get to have rehearsals, and that's great, but sometimes you don't, and that's also okay. Both are normal. So if you're at a rehearsal, then the director might say, he might make those adjustments there, but often in film, you already come with your choices made, and that's the time that the director will say that choice is correct or that choice is not correct. Usually if your choice is correct, you hear nothing, which can be scary because you get no feedback at all. You don't know if it's good or bad. You just have to assume it's good. But yeah, you may get those choices on the spot.
With your role in Empire, how much of it was improvisation versus what was exactly on the script?
That was exactly on the script because it was one of my first roles and I was too scared. I was way too scared. I had those lines down packed. It was not a parenthesis, a comma, nothing added to the script.
Did you make any errors like on the set, like any like redos or anything, or were you like pretty spot on?
No, but I promise you, my heart was beating so fast and I just kept playing my lines back of like in my head, in the back of my head, just playing them just so I wouldn't mess up because I was honestly scared. And one of the first day that I filmed, it was in front of a crowd because I was a reporter. So not only am I nervous because this is my first, big role, I'm also nervous because there's a ton of people out there. And I'm just, man, it was tough. I'm like, I don't know what I can do to stop my heart from beating. I hope they can't hear it on the mic. Like it was just, I was scared. But
right.
Yeah, it's cool.
So talking about that experience working on the show, did you eventually decide like it wasn't like to discontinue it, or how did it work as far as you leaving the show pretty much?
Well, I was a co-star. So the co-star is like you might have a 1 to 3 episode, or you're not a regular, you're not a series regular. So unfortunately that was the extent of my character in that season. So
right on. Yeah, man, I remember Cash Doll and BMF, son. I was so mad when she was out. Man,
I like, wait, bring her back.
When they took Cash Doll out of BMF, I stopped watching. I mean, I only watched the episodes with her in it, mind you. But at the same time, I was like, I can't believe you took her out like that, and especially like that. Like that's how you're gonna take her out.
That's how it goes. Sometimes.
Was it heartbreaking for you to see that?
Of course. I
feel like I had to look at her Instagram after to make sure she was still alive.
Right. But you never know because you can get shot about 11 times and they still might bring you back. So
they'll figure it out. Alive. Did you ever get a chance to? Did you audition for BMF?
I have not auditioned for BMF, which I'm like,
you should.
No, I haven't. I would love to. If it were my choice, I would have already auditioned for BMF. But I haven't got the opportunity.
So after that, after Empire, you have a resume now. Like you have, and it's like you're showcasing. Like you started off with a home run. Like you're starting off hot, right? What are producers and directors seeing, and how does that lead you to your next roles after that?
So after Empire, then I booked a New Era commercial, which I was so excited about because I was the female lead on that. But the craziest thing is I wore my hair naturally curly, which my hair is huge. And New Era, they're, it's hats and stuff, lids and stuff. So when I got there, they literally couldn't find a hat big enough for my head. They kept it was so embarrassing. They basically just had to keep the back open and I had to keep my head forward. But anyway, after that commercial, I just thought I was gonna, the ball was rolling. It's a snowball effect and I'm just gonna book a ton of things. But it was so slow. I was auditioning over and over and over and over and I was getting nothing. That's why I moved from Chicago to LA because I'm like, maybe Chicago, I know they have Chicago Fire and Chicago Med. They're bringing a lot of things here, Empire's here, but I might need to go and try LA where there's a bigger pond or bigger pool. And I went out there and I was auditioning over and over and I didn't book a thing for a couple years, really. And at that point, I'm like, okay, what can I do? What do I need to do? I'm a creative. I can write my own things and I can make my own things. So I ended up doing YouTube. And that's actually where I got most of my supporters from doing skits on YouTube. Right.
So you were able to build your own platform.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's crazy about building your own platform is now if you have something to release or showcase, then they're going to be a huge support for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes producers and directors intrigued because now you're going to be able to sell tickets and get views, right, for their stuff. So it's the smartest thing in the world to do if you're an actor and an independent artist in any type of way, right?
Absolutely.
So the YouTube creations, what were you finding worked for you as far as YouTube? What was the first signs of this is going to work? I'm actually generating revenue now.
Well, the YouTube community, at least the one that I was in LA, was we were pretty small. We kind of worked together really well. And I started noticing that when I auditioned and they would ask for my handle, because I had a larger following now, I was getting more callbacks. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm honestly still not a fan of putting people who just have a bunch of followers in a position where, someone has more talent could actually, be. And,
I've had that gripe so many. I talked to a few directors from Michigan, and I always talk about that. I'm like, what's really happening is you guys are literally just taking Instagram celebrities and putting them in movies, because when you guys do your theater release and you guys need streams, their social media accounts are so big that they can just promote it, sell out the theater, and get as many streams as possible because they have a huge name. The only problem with that is when you actually go watch the movies, I'm like, these motherfuckers can't act, bro. Like, I'm not trying to watch a movie where these guys can't act and there's no substance. So it's almost like, hey, we're going to put big names on it that you recognize and are familiar with, but we're not going to give you an actual product that's worthwhile or has substance to it.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
And it's like, I get the psychology behind it, because we like to see familiar faces, regardless of if the person is talented. Something in us as humans, when we recognize a face, we're like, okay, I might watch that. Okay, I might buy that because this person's, doing it. New faces, even if they're extremely talented, it may not, like you said, sell as many tickets. But I am for people who have the talent. My vote is still for people that have the talent, because if your film is good, then you're going to sell the tickets. If you have a good trailer, you're going to sell the tickets. If you have good marketing, you're going to sell the tickets. I feel like the money that you put towards people who might have a following that are not real actors, you can put that towards promotion.
Well, the only reason that's happened is because as cost of production for films has gone down, it's more accessible for people to make films.
True.
So now you got people with their own money that are like, yo, I'm just going to go call up all these famous people in the city and I'm going to go pay them to be in a movie and go sell it. So it's a transaction. It's not really a creation of film anymore. It's almost like we're going to flip this product now.
Then you also have people who are in that space, that realm of acting, that are not necessarily, they don't necessarily have a passion for acting anyway. So on the other end, it's a hustle mentality, which I love. I love that, get your money, but it does not reflect the art that is which is world building and transporting people to a different place, because people are going through a lot of things, and films help to make you feel like you are somewhere else just for that moment, at least just for that hour and a half. You are not worried about your mom being sick, or just for that hour and a half you're not worried about things that are going on at home. And when you put people that are not passionate about it and they're just there for the money grab, then it reflects on screen
for sure.
And it just
another part of it too is the transformative effect. I think movies and shows do have a transformative effect on people. Like when I watched Breaking Bad, I literally was like a transformed person after that. I was like, wait a minute, oh man, I'm on some bullshit, I need to get my life together. Like, all right, but that's the important part when you're watching. Not to knock on Tubi or anything, like Tubi's a great platform in any of it, but because there's so many people that figured out how to make a bag off of it, they are literally doing the system that we're talking about. The crazy part is there's a fucking audience. Like, that's the crazy part.
Audience for anything, Some people like McDonald's, some people like Ruth Chris, it depends on your preference. And people, at the rate that we are consuming content, putting out content that is at least palatable to people, which I think is a lot of the content that might go on a Tubi, might go on these streaming services where people can upload their material, that people just want to eat.
Do you have a guilty pleasure low budget film that you watch repeatedly?
Let me think. Let me say this: I don't mind if the film is low budget. I don't mind if it's independent. Passion of the Christ is an independent film, but it has a budget. But you know what I mean? I know, but it's independent. People are like, I got the best independent film. I'm like, there are so many. But I'm sorry, I'm gonna say. But was it me? Yes, it was. But yeah, it's like my guilty pleasure doesn't necessarily come from watching low budget films. But I will say that I do support any of my friends that do anything. If you are a creative and you are, you have enough passion to go out and make a film, then I'm going to support you and watch it.
Well, yeah, you were like in Serial Cheater, right?
Yeah, it was.
Serial Cheater is considered I think it is a Tubi movie.
It is. It was a Tubi.
It was a good ass Tubi movie though.
Thank you.
It was a good ass Tubi movie.
That actually is one of my favorite films that I got to be a part of, because my character Jada she's very close to how I act. Not, she's not, I'm not really out here, dating a lot of men, but I mean, like, in the sense of her being sweet and soft and just how she deals with life. Yeah.
Did you, so I kind of let's get back on track with that though. So when you create the YouTube page, for you, is it a monetary thing, or is it a way, did you know in foresight what it was going to become? Like, did you know, like, in hindsight what it was going to become? Did you know what it was going to be? And did you have a plan and strategy in mind for it?
I did have a plan. I did want to build a following because I did notice that people were looking at the amount of followers I had, and I had like maybe 9,000 followers, which is still a good amount of people. 9,000 people in a room is cool, but it's not the same as 100,000. So I literally went to a audition before, and it was between me and someone else to be the lead and the supporting, and they asked us how many followers we have. She had 83 and I had 9,000, and they were like, okay, cool, you're the lead. So from that moment, I'm like, okay, I need to build my following. And I noticed that a lot of my friends around me, they weren't working, but they were making money enough to be able to live in LA, and LA is not cheap. So I'm like, what are y'all doing? How are y'all making this money? And it was skits. So I'm like, that's my passion for acting. I can create my own content, and on top of that, I can build a following, which will help me on the when it comes to auditioning.
Yeah.
So I did have a plan in play, but I did not know that it would help as much as it has, because from YouTube, I also learned how to produce. Because we watch these skits and they're funny and they're cool. We see our influencer friends on there, or just people that we like to see. But at the end of the day, behind the screen, you're producing. You're looking for a camera. It might be your iPhone. That's fine. You got a mic. It might be a boom. It might be a little Rode mic. It might be attached to your phone. You might have one light. You're still getting your talent together, which is for free a lot of the times. So you're location scouting. It might be guerrilla style, but you're learning all these different aspects, and that's what it taught me. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so on a smaller scale, but you're doing it with no budget.
Right.
So
as long as you can tell the 3 acts, right? And if you can deliver the 3 acts in a way that people can interpret, digest, and want more of, then you're good.
Facts.
Doesn't really matter how much everything costs. So you were successful at that. And now there's more opportunities. So what were you seeing as your first opportunities after launching YouTube and finding success with it?
My first opportunity. Oh, you know what? I think it might have been the Serial Cheater.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
cool.
from YouTube. No. Sorry. No, it was actually. I'm sorry. I'm getting them confused.
No, you're cool.
Is it? I think it might have been Dymez, actually.
Oh, cool.
That was my first.
My friend Dion Shepard worked on that. So.
That's my friend too.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Yep. So he reached out. It was hilarious because I'm out in LA. So Dion reached out to me. So Dion, how he speaks. And I'm used to dealing with, a lot of the very formal formalities when it comes to auditioning and landing a role in LA. And it's just different out there. People are different. So Dion hits me up and he's like, call me about this movie. So I call him and he's like, what up though? I'm like, hey. He's like, yeah, we try, I'm like, he just so laid back, like, yeah, we got this movie. It's funny, man. It's funny as hell, man. I'm like, okay. I'm like, should I do
That's
this?
Darren's movie, right?
It's Darren, Darren Brown. Shout out to Darren Brown.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And he's like, but there is an intimate scene with a girl, so you might have to kiss a girl. I'm like, can you just send me the script and I read it and I'll let you know if I want to do it. But so having that YouTube account and showing people like, hey, I can act, even though it's comedic, which I feel like is more difficult anyway. But it allowed me to show like, hey, I can act, and hey, I got a platform, and hey, people like me, and I have supporters now. So would you guys take a chance on me? And Darren Brown took a chance on me, and Beezy took a chance on me. There's a lot of people who helped me at the very beginning when I didn't have anyone really taking any chances on me, and from that really helped me to land a lot of other things.
Yeah, the relationship aspect, right? Mm-hmm. And especially if you have a great personality and you're really looking for opportunity, like eventually it comes, right?
Yeah, you stay at it. You got to stay at it. You hear a bunch of no's and you just keep going. And hopefully you have a strong support system. I was blessed enough to have my family and my friends around me that kept telling me, it's okay, you're talented. You are talented. I know you're hearing no every day, but you're very talented, so keep going. And I had my teachers. I was taking classes even after I graduated, and they were telling me, like, no, keep at it. You're very talented. Keep going. I'm like, but no one else thinks so, but okay.
The thing that scares people about Tubi and approaching Tubi, like if you're trying to become a professional actor, is like they're like, oh, it might hinder my career because, they're considered like lower budget, or because of the portfolio or categories that are under Tubi, people get afraid to make that a part of their portfolio. But for you, you still found major success when you get to BET, right? Mm-hmm. So it's almost like, no, as long as you perform well and you do it properly, like it's not a hindrance. It can be a boom. It can be a blessing for you.
And honestly, if you feel like you got the acting chops and you might be the shining star in a film that's doesn't really have a lot of talent surrounding it, or maybe the script wasn't the best, or it didn't unfold the way that you thought it would. But if you did a really good job, people can still recognize that, regardless if it's on Tubi and it's low budget, or people look down on those films. If your performance is good, it's good.
Facts.
And I haven't had a hindrance there, but the world is changing too. People back in the day, Hollywood stars, you didn't know what was going on in their personal life. They didn't, it was only a few people that got recycled over and over in these movies. And now with how fast we want content and things, the doors are open. And now I feel like you can't say like, hey, if you go this route, you will not succeed, or if you go this route, you will for sure succeed. You just have to kind of pray about it and trust yourself.
The comedy world was like that too. At a point, the comedy world, everybody thought you had to do clean acts in order to get gigs, and then some comedians were like, that's not my style, so I'm going to break out of it, and they became the most successful comedians of all time. Yeah, the nicer ones, the cleaner ones got booked more often, but then the dirty comments ended up getting booked for bigger and bigger and bigger shows. And even look like at Bob Saget. At that time, everybody was saying work clean. Bob Saget was one of the dirtiest comedians of all time, and he got booked for Full House, which is the most child-friendly, PG-friendly TV show in history. So it's like there is no rules and restrictions or anything as far as that. The guy from freaking what's it called? Who's the guy who played Harry Potter? Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe played a freaking undercover cop that was a Nazi fucking racist fucking what do they call him? Neo-Nazi with his head shaved off in a movie.
Bro, he played a guy who used his best friend's dead body as a boat.
I was just gonna say that movie was insane.
Nuts.
I loved it though.
Like freaking Edward Norton played a skinhead in American History X. Literally, all these things that where you think like, oh, that's career suicide. It's like, all these things. So like you're saying, there is no restrictions to anything as long as you put out your best effort and you really bring it. Do you feel like you have ever saved a Tubi movie? Like, do you feel like you ever saved one from like that was like going downhill? Without naming any names, but like,
I feel that. I feel. I never thought about it like that, but I'll say this, that I do feel that I've been disappointed in the outcome of a film, but proud of my performance. So, and with one of the films that I wasn't very proud of, I ended up getting nominated for a HAPA award, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, that's cool, but because I feel that like I said, if your performance is okay or it's good, then you will get rewarded for that, regardless of how the film looks.
Did you show up to the award ceremony?
No, I was filming.
Oh, okay.
Man, when I tell you, after Serial Cheater, I was filming nonstop. Cool. Honestly, and I don't know if that's a good thing. I'm not telling everybody to go do that because you kind of want to see your performance and your work. I was just so sick of hearing no that when I heard yes, I'm like, well, maybe I will do this movie. And I was saying no to some films, but the ones that they were coming so rapidly. Like I said, people are making content here, especially in Detroit. It is like a filmmaker hub, which I'm so freaking proud of because it's a city full of hustlers and everybody is going to get it. But I don't think that if I would have go back in time, I would have gone as rapidly. I should have digested the content that I was putting out and kind of figured out what I want to do moving forward as well.
Did you get in did you check out the McGraw series? Did they ask you?
McGraw.
Did they ask you to be a part of that?
I think I auditioned for McGraw or either H Block. I can't remember which one.
H Block's the new one, right? The spinoff from McGraw, right?
Yeah.
Did they give you a call back for it?
I don't remember. I feel like I was filming Melanin at the time, which is also another Darren Brown film.
Yeah. Yeah, the Melanin. I think I saw them to premiere. Were you at the museum when they did the Detroit Film Awards a couple years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they premiered the trailer there for that.
Yeah.
Did you win any awards that day?
I did. I won Best Actress,
cool.
the Choice Award.
Oh, yeah. I was there. I was in the back.
Yeah, I had my locks. I was like, oh, my gosh. Yeah. I literally did not expect that because I was still living in LA at the time, and I had came there to do a few films. I did Melanin. I did Dymez and The Serial Cheater, which wasn't out yet. But I was just in the audience just to support someone else. But when they said my name, I'm like, I don't have a speech, but thank you guys. No. But that event was beautiful. I was so proud of Detroit at that moment because it was by Detroit, for Detroit, and it was just, I mean, it was top notch. I had such a great experience there.
Before you get to BET, is there anything else that kind of helped pivot you or helped push you up to a higher level at that point? Or were you just consistently like on a good grind of getting booked and just doing movies and just picking the roles you wanted?
I think it was honestly networking. Just it was about me working hard and being on different sets and people having good things to say about me and referring me. And one of the casting directors told me that she had heard my name from both another producer and the sound guy. I'm like, you know, it's just like, I'm like, it's just, you never know who's going to help you. I've been helped by just people in so many different positions that I'm so thankful for. And it's just, yeah, I think it definitely was networking, which is usually how it goes.
And so when you get that obviously a great role now, what's transpired since your roles? Like, has anything new come up for you, or is there any projects in the works that are like super? Are they undercover? Or are you allowed to talk about everything?
I have one undercover. That's a series I'm so excited about. But, you know, if you're following me, if you're a supporter, then you will see soon. And then I have a few films that are coming out. Blue Devils, which is one I'm super proud of. I have Henry coming out. I wish I had my list here. My brain is blanking. Oh, yeah, me and Hitman Holla have a film, Christmas Bay, coming out. Another Christmas film, which I'm excited about because those are my favorite holiday films. They're usually rom-coms, so that's like one of my favorite genres. And yeah, it's just been an awesome life. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was working as a nurse. I also am an RN, and
oh, cool.
I was doing that while auditioning. So I wasn't like I wasn't struggling per se, but I was struggling because I didn't really want to work in that field at that time because I really wanted to pursue my passion. And for the past over 2 years now, I've been able to just live off of my dream is just acting, and that is just honestly, I just feel very blessed to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, it sounds like everything is going afloat, like you're saying, and if you're balancing a job out with entertainment, it makes it easier because you don't have to be a starving artist anymore. Like you can kind of fund yourself both ways, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Do you got any time, or do you gotta rock and roll?
The only thing I gotta do is eat some barbecue.
Okay, cool.
But I'm okay.
Okay, cool. So just a couple questions for people who are interested in the film industry. Tubi movies, independent movies, and even mainstream movies. You've been a part of, all of that and seen it all. What takes somebody from the independent level to be able to work on the Hollywood level?
Honestly, I myself am still on the grind, working my way up. I am up and coming myself. So the things that I've learned that have helped me to continue to be on the up and up is to have a positive attitude. You know, when you're on set, things happen, and if you have negativity surrounding you, people aren't going to want you around. So make sure not only are you perfecting your craft, but you also have a good positive attitude that you bring to set every single day, regardless of what's going on at home. I recommend staying focused on getting into classes and going to these networking events, and and just making sure that you have to enjoy the process versus the goal, because it might be a long one.
Yeah. It can be as long as it takes before you find your big hit.
You might be 40 and you're starting out in your 20s. So just
I think Morgan Freeman was like in his 40s or some shit like that. 40.
So and wasn't Samuel Jackson too?
Yeah, Samuel Jackson took a minute.
Danny Trejo was in prison before you started acting.
Yeah. And then the last question I wanted to ask you, as far as female actresses in the scene right now, are you seeing, is it like a fair just right now as far as the work that they're getting and the compensation and everything compared to the male actors right now? Is like everything, when you look at the scene, do you see anything where there's holes or anything that makes things not as balanced, or do you see everything like going as it should be going right now?
I feel that there are so many roles coming out, especially even just in Detroit. There's independent filmmakers all over the country, all over the world. But when it comes to the ones here, I feel that there are so many opportunities that I don't see a drought. I feel like everyone has a fair share of filmmaking, and the pay, people set their own pay, especially for independent artists. You know, some people's day rate might be $100. Some people's might be a minimum $10,000 to even have me on your set. You know, so it really depends on your name and what you can bring. A lot of the time, it is how many seats you can fill. But when it comes to the differences with men and women, I don't know. I need to start asking around because
Yeah.
no, I don't think that they get. I don't know. I feel like everyone sets their own price, but I will say that a lot of the films that are coming out of Michigan that are going onto Tubi, the only gripe I have when it comes to male and female, the difference is they sometimes can paint the women to be, you know, bad. Like a lot of the times the women are cheating. A lot of the time that's the plot of the story is how she cheated, and people, you know, a lot of the time the women are getting murdered for these things, and it's like, yikes. And a lot of the time the men are drug dealing and murdering people the whole movie, and it's just, I feel that there are so many different stories that we could tell, and I hope that we can share outside of cheating women and drug dealers and sex and selling what is easily attainable, the easiest apple to grab.
You literally just described the movie I was in. I was in this movie called, I was in Strange Fruit with Crystal the Doll and Tattoo Man Page. And literally, like, the girl was a stripper that, like, found a bunch of money and then she died of AIDS at the end, I think. Yeah. I was like, damn, son, what kind of fucked up shit is this? Like, that's the worst way for Crystal to go out.
It's like, come on. We have so many amazing stories, and I get that. Like, I love sci-fi, so the kind of content that I truly want to create, it takes a budget, you know, or it's going to look cheesy. So I get that we might not be able to do, you know, this big budget sci-fi film, but we might be able to tell other stories that are still captivating and still bring an audience. And maybe you still use influencers and still use people with a following, but maybe she's not a stripper. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's not a stripper. Maybe, you know, maybe she doesn't cheat. Maybe she loves her husband. And what I'm filming now, I'm a wife, and the wife, she's like a Claire Huxtable type of wife, and I'm so happy. There's no cheating yet. I hope not. I hope it doesn't come. But it's like, it's such a supportive marriage, and I'm like, we need to show more of supportive, you know, marriages, because right now, even in the climate outside of filmmaking, there are so many things that are pitting men and women against each other, and I just would love to show love. Yeah,
that's beautifully said. Sometimes when you watch these TV series, you're engulfed in the world that's happening, and so when you're seeing a cheating couple, you're like, oh man, I don't want to fucking be a part of your world of cheating and weirdness.
Yeah, and then you start thinking like, is he cheating? Because I didn't think, until I watched this movie, I didn't think that.
We got to get off social media, because social media makes you feel like your partner's cheating 24/7. Everything you scroll on is like, oh wait a minute, my partner does that too. They must be cheating on my ass.
Sometimes it's like, I mean, I'm seeing this big booty girl twerk, and my man is on here. You gotta get. No, I'm just kidding. You gotta get off of here with all that. No, but I do see when I'm scrolling is you have another opportunity with other people. It's so easy to be in a DM of a girl that lives in Miami or a girl that lives in New York, and you're living here in Michigan, and or vice versa. Man, you know, it's like everyone is so attainable, and life is so glamorous for everyone, and no one's ever sad, and it's just, I don't know. I feel that it is really breaking the dynamic of the man and woman household, and marriage, and love. It's like love is still there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's why we got to basically just, it's not that you need to stay off social media, but you need to have integrity with the relationship that you're in. You need to be like, am I really going to be involved in this or not? Because if I'm not going to be involved in it, then just move the hell on. You know? But some people don't give a damn. Some of my friends, they cheat, and they're just like, you feeling me? That's just another day for me. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know. You know?
No, I'm not with that. My friends, I am a truthful friend, and I'm going to hold you accountable. If you are in a relationship, do not use me as a scapegoat to cheat, because I won't be. I just don't agree with it. And I feel that if you want to be out here in these streets, then be out here in these streets. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be in a poly relationship, be in a poly relationship. But don't tell someone that you are faithful and then turn around and do something conniving or do something that really breaks that trust. And also, it makes it difficult for me to trust you in any capacity, friendship, business, anything. Because if you're going to do that to someone that you pillow talk with, what will you do to me?
So in dating for you, that is facts. But in dating for you, have you ever dated somebody that you didn't figure out was married until like way later, or like in a relationship?
Okay. Not married. I've never dated anyone that I found out was married, thank God. But in college, I did date a guy, and I found out that he had a girlfriend, and I was so livid. And the craziest part about it is he tried to get me to lie to her. He was like, can you just tell her that we never talked? I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll tell her that. So he bring her there. He's like, see, I told you she was just my friend. I'm like, girl, he took me here. He took me there. We have pictures here. He did this. You guys, if you guys want to go live your happy life, then that's cool. I'm not going to talk to him anymore. You don't have to worry about me. But you do need to worry about all the other girls, because no one's going to, like, he doesn't care. He literally asked me to come lie to you. And he was like,
You did both of them. You did both of them a favor. You did
Like,
you did the guy a favor, and you did her a favor.
I don't know, because I just recently looked back to see where is he now, and they're married with kids. So maybe, hopefully he's faithful now. Hopefully,
married with children doesn't mean damn jack. They could be the most miserable couple married with children. At the same
I'm
time.
hoping that maybe that changed his life, and he was like, you know what? No more of the
cheating
cat.
is not for me.
Just
I had
you.
that experience when I was dating a girl one time that I was very serious about, and then I was like, damn, I feel like cheating for some reason. And then like
It just came up.
I don't know what happened. It just like out of nowhere. And then I ended up like, I was at the studio, and this female artist that came in the studio, and she was just talking to me. She's like, I can't believe it's you, whatever the fuck. She was kind of like, whatever. She's like, I swear to you, this is no joke. I never expected this to ever happen. She's like, do you want to fuck? She literally just said those words to me.
Not you manifested some booty, but go ahead.
My entire body did like this thing where it's like, yes. And it like magnetized me to be like, yes, like, let's do this. This is amazing. But then my mind consciously was like, no, I'm not going to lose this person for this moment. And it was a very hard thing. But then after that, I was like, I can never cheat. Like, it's not in me to cheat, because it's just so much integrity inside of me, and it would hurt me so much to do that. I was like, another one of these opportunities will come in the future if me and her are not together, so I don't have to worry about this. And I walked away from it. But I felt why everybody cheats at that moment, because I never cheated either. I've been in an 8-year relationship. I never cheated. I'm in a current relationship. I never cheated. But I understood why people cheated at that moment. What your body does to you when you're in a circumstance where you're very attracted to somebody and they're attracted to you, it's almost like, how do you stop it?
Oh, I feel you, because you have to, for me, I have to have that integrity with anything I do. For me, cheating is a no across the board when it comes to, I'm not cheating on my friends to get ahead over you. I just want to have that type of integrity in my life. I'm not perfect, but that's just what I hope, the standard that I hold myself to. And as an actress, dating, I have to have that integrity, because we have sex scenes. We have scenes where I might have to kiss a guy. I might have to tell him, look in his eyes every single day and tell him that I love him. And I have to make sure that there is always that boundary there of no matter what he sees, he's going to see me in my underwear. He's going to see me. He's going to kiss me for the next 3 weeks, a month, or however long we're filming. We're going to be looking into each other's eyes, telling each other that we love each other. And it always has to be that boundary of this is my job.
Yeah.
And I would never, even if I was single, I still wouldn't mingle on set like that. But still, this is a job, and there is a definite line of integrity there of not cheating.
Yeah, beautifully said. This was an awesome talk. I really appreciate you pulling up and talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Was there anything on your mind that you wanted to talk about before we got off, or is there anything you wanted to announce before we sign off?
Well, I just want to say to all of my supporters, thank you so much. To everyone that has helped me to get where I am right now, thank you. To my family, thank you. And anyone that's aspiring to be an actress, or anything, any type of creative job, just stay focused and know that no doesn't mean no. It just means not right now.
Woo! Ciera, Angelia, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you for having
Parallel
me.
Sound Studio, Hello Visuals, shooting these productions. We're out. Peace.